Welcome to the OVAReact podcast. I am so excited and so good to be back with you ladies.
Hello, overreactors. In a society that tries to put women in a box,
let's overreact. It's your girl Moh. We are back. The sisterhood is back. The empowerment, the rebrand, a new platform where we can tell untold conversation, untold stories of new women you have not seen before, new stories you have not heard before. So, welcome. If you've been overreacting with us, and to the new overreactors, get some tables. It's gonna be energy.
And it's your girl Lush Angela. As you said, Mo, we are coming back differently, hot, and we're spicing up the radio. Why don't you tell them how?
All right, it's your girl Angela Wamboy, and this hour is going to be very unique because this is going to be a place where women's stories take center stage. We plan on challenging stereotypes, and more importantly, we're going to bring you an inspiring edge to the fuse, okay? We're going to have thought-provoking discussions around women's issues, our triumphs, our tribulations, but most importantly, our togetherness in this journey.
And that will be happening every last Wednesday of the month. So tune in next week. And we'll also be overreacting with one special guest, which you'll have to wait and see. So we're really excited to bring and spice up the way we do the podcast beyond us just sitting and talking, but also bringing it to the radio and listening to some fire music. I know you can't wait to listen to your queen.
I think that's also just an exciting element that we get to add, is just highlighting female artists globally from across the globe. So if you have a favorite artist, let us know in the comment section below.
Yes. And ladies, as with the journey of every woman, we've taken a whole pose. Mm-hmm. What has been happening in your lives? What's new?
The last time we actually filmed a proper force was 2023, because last year we did What Women Want. Mm-hmm. So we're talking about what has happened to us maybe since 2024. So a lot has happened. To be honest, it's been a year of growth. It's been a year of reflection for me. It's been a year of wonderful surprises. I'm learning to toot my own horn. So from now on, I'm top 40 under 40. Period. So even the growth for our organizations, we have a lot more schools now in terms of what we're doing with our event space. But just me on a personal level, it's been a season of reflection, identifying who I am and feeling comfortable in my skin, and finding the voice in my own space and how I belong. So that's been my year, to be honest.
That's beautiful, and congratulations on your top 40 under 40.
Thank you.
And you, Mishish? What's up?
My goodness, it's just been, I don't know, I feel like after COVID, I have no sense of time. Everything is just like boom, bling. Mm-hmm. But it's just been really beautiful for me on a personal level, reconnecting more with my family. I've gotten to see my family more. For those of you that may know or may not know, I used to live in the US. And so I go through these very long periods without seeing my family. And for me, every day you just realize the gift of family, and that you got one family and that's it. And I've just been more intentional in having more engaging relationships with my family. Even though they're across seas, we visit each other a lot often, and that means a lot to me.
I love that.
Yes. And you, our family, you can tell us, what you've been up to. What did you miss? What is that one story, that one woman that stood out in our previous episodes? So we can see whether we can bring her back. We can retell the story because we are all about elevating women's stories and voice and their voices. As for me, as Mo, 2024, oh my God. I feel like my life took a 360. From my career taking off, traveling and seeing the world, losing sense of time because I don't know where that year went.
It's a real thing.
Also learning bits of me that I thought that were permanent, yet the twists, the ups and downs of life, they called me to rebrand myself, to shed off those identities. Perhaps they were given by my family, by friends, by environments I was in, but I don't resonate with them anymore. So it's been good, and I love that transition, and I hope, you know, in the new season we can be able to share bits and bits of who we are. Yeah.
In like the year, have there been any moments where you've met somebody who's inspired you, any women change makers, or any particular interactions that you've had, particular lessons in the last year that you can empower somebody else who's listening?
Well, one thing I'll say, 2024 was quite an interesting year. It was a year of uprising, you know, so whether that meant us marching in the streets against GBV, or whether that was the uprising of the Gen Z challenging the government. For me, a woman that truly is inspiring is Jerry Migui, who's also been one of our guests previously. And, you know, to think that in 2024, we started off the year marching through the streets in the thousands across the entire nation, marching against femicide. And we still ended the year on that same note.
Yeah.
But one thing I love about Jerry, she just never tires. And so when I think about our journey with Heels for Pads, and I also think about our journey in Sister Speaks Global, we never tire because we remember our why and why we're doing this. And that is our energy and our fuel to keep going. But that's one woman that definitely comes to mind, where the load can be heavy sometimes.
Yeah, she has a heavy anointing, yeah.
You know, but I'm just like, you are a blessing from God, because that's definitely a calling. So someone that inspires me to tap into my life calling.
And connecting to your point around like the people that inspired me, it's every woman that showed up, that turned out in the streets, you know, to end femicide, to call out, you know, perpetrators, to call out all forms of gender, sexual violence. Kudos to you for being a change, being a voice, and this has to end, seriously. I feel like the year 2024, there was a bit of heaviness to it.
Very heavy.
Collectively.
Very
heavy.
Heavy in a way that maybe people's life will never be the same again. Say, for example, you know, their moms who lost their sons, and we honor those lives that died in the line, you know, when we were calling for fairer policies and, you know, calling for accountability in this new government and calling for equality. So I think we can do a moment of silence to every woman that we lost, especially those 100 women we lost within 90 days, which was very sad. And we hope that no more women will be lost in the hands of perpetrators.
Absolutely. I think even just speaking on that, so like, yes, I totally agree with Jerry. I told her recently, because we have an event called Heels Connect, and in the month of March, which is the month about accelerating action, and so we got with different women change makers. And before she came, I messaged her and I told her, you have such an anointing on you, and it's a really heavy load, because it's sometimes almost like, yes, you want to keep hope alive, but it's such a deep and dark topic.
Yes.
So I had the opportunity of meeting Leima Bowie, who's a Nobel laureate, and we got to watch her film, Something Back from Hell, Kicking the Devil Back to Hell. I might be saying it wrong. And her story is very similar, because it was about championing and changing the narrative of Liberians at the time. And when I was watching it, I thought, you know, like what you're saying is when you listen to people speak, and she was saying how it's really important as us as women and to anybody listening is to have a unified voice, because then you have one angle and one thing that you're fighting for, and then that way even your voice becomes louder. And so I think somebody like Jerry allowed us to have that space and that voice, and even us within our own platforms just amplifying that femicide is a real actual issue. And even beyond, before you even get to femicide, there's other levels of domestic violence, gender-based violence, IPV as well, which is intimate personal violence too, that people don't talk about, because when you're in a relationship, you kind of, or in marriages, you can't discuss that. So it was a heavy, tough year. And however, for me, 2025, I came into it optimistic and focused that what we have done is perhaps laying the groundwork for a better Kenya, for a better narrative for all, not just women, but for all, for young people, for men, for children, for women, everybody. So that's what I'm personally really looking forward. Are there any key lessons, or if you were to give a synopsis or maybe a movie title? I know I'm stretching you guys. What would be your movie title for 2024? I think for me, let me help you guys. I'll just pick something. I think for me, I would say the year of full of surprises on all realms, from my personal to just what happened on a national level.
I think for me, if I was to think of a movie title, the power of your voice, the weight of your voice. Sometimes we don't understand just the power of one person just speaking up, and it just causes a domino effect. For me, it was really inspiring to see the social media uprising. Of course, we know KOTs are a powerful bunch, but watching that morph into something more and understanding the power of our voice as young people, and watching the community come together and understand, there may be higher powers, but we also have power within ourselves. I think for me, that would be a movie title or a highlight of the year.
I think for me, it's not a movie, it's more like a series.
Okay.
And the haves and the have-nots, by our favorite Taylor Perry. So we saw the haves and the have-nots in the streets, speaking in one voice. And that's what gave me hope for this country. Yeah.
I like that.
Whether you had your Uber bring you to the streets.
Yes.
Whether you have your Adibus or Adidas.
That politician.
Whether you ate in Kibandaski or you went to KFC after.
Yeah.
Yes. I love the unity. I love the oneness, the unity, calling for justice and a better Kenya. So I think that would be my title.
Yeah. And one special thing about Kenyans, no matter the seriousness or the darkness of any situation, I don't know how people find humor and lightness. And there were so many things that came out of that movement. That really
Yeah. It's the creativity.
The creativity, yes.
Yes.
I think we can't help ourselves.
I know.
Yeah.
I think because we're all, even in our own right, we're women change makers. There are people who are listening, and we were fortunate enough to be around. We've been fortunate enough actually to be around many versions of change makers in different capacities, from women's rights to education to agriculture. With all the collective conversations that you've had, or even you as an individual, what do you think makes or helps somebody to accelerate action? Because that's what the month of March is about. It's about pushing forward. It's about trusting that one voice is powerful enough to get everybody together. There's this picture that I've seen before of black birds and one yellow bird, right? That yellow bird could easily, it's not because of your outfit, but that yellow bird could easily decide to morph and become like the blackbird, but sticks with its own, motion and vibe. How would you say you have found your voice in your spaces, and how do you use it? What works for you, and maybe somebody else can learn?
I think sometimes we live in such a noisy space these days, between WhatsApp, social media, and just generally life. There's a lot of noise around you, but I think honing that strength and that inner voice, it just requires you to just pause sometimes. I think being still is the beginning of finding that inner voice and hearing it loudly and clearly. So you have to be really intentional sometimes about just being still so that you can hear yourself, because there are so many voices. It's so hard to switch off. Like, I really have a hard time switching off sometimes, but that is where I find the inner voice.
Okay. I like that.
I think mine has been a formula I learned from one of my managers. He says the power of 3. Like, the power of 3 mathematically is like, what can you times 3 in your life? So would that mean spending 3 minutes to tell someone like words of encouragement, or giving them, like, a hug for 3 minutes, 3 seconds? Is it like finding 3 girls you can talk to, you could change their lives? Is it 3 months dedicated to learning a skill? Is it like 3 years of dedicating that, you're going to change your life? And I started reframing that from like how much 3 minutes means to me. And I started doing like 3 minutes pockets of the way you say quieting yourself and quieting your mind. So if I'm telling myself I have a to-do list starting with 3 minutes, what can I do in 3 minutes? Is it stacking priorities with non-urgent stuff? Is it calling someone to tell them I love you for 3 minutes? Is it hugging someone longer, 3 seconds longer? And I think it has really changed who I am.
I love that.
Yeah.
Power of 3.
The power of 3.
Mine's biblical. It's the parable of the talents, and asking myself, what are my talents? Because voices are different. Some people speak. Some people do it through writing. Some people do it artistically. Some people do it by gathering communities and not necessarily being loud about it. So identifying myself with the parable of the talents narrative, and identifying who am I in the story, and how many talents have I been given, and how can I use them? And so over time, I've come to identify mine is speaking, writing, and teaching. And so in those 3 ways, I then now use it to ensure that I am a voice of reason, a voice for the voiceless, and also just being okay with being the only one with a different narrative, and being bold about it, like
being the yellow bird.
Being the yellow bird, and just honestly, I think in my 20s, I don't think I would be who I was, which is somebody who was maybe always subconscious and conscious about what might people think if I say this, and so always sometimes also wanting to respect your elders, you can't say certain things. And now I realize that you have to find ways of speaking out in the versions that come easily to you. So I think what I would say to somebody is find your voice through what comes easily. Don't try and do what somebody else is doing. And also passions are different, right? And passions come from perception and perspective. So for instance, if we're to use Njeri as an example, the reason why she's really passionate about fighting for women GBV survivors is because she has a personal experience, right? And then there'll be somebody else who's gonna do something around cyberbullying because maybe they went through a particular experience. So find what you're passionate about, and then find a way to align it with your talent, I think would be mine.
I like that. That's a good word of advice. And when you were talking about the parable of the talents, it reminds me of how we opened up the month of March, which was with the Heels Connect Women's Day brunch. So one of our guest speakers, Frida Owinga.
Yes.
So one of the things she highlighted in addition to the parable of the talents was talking about how collaboration is a currency of today.
Yeah.
So when it comes to your personal journey of accomplishments, what role has collaboration played in your journey?
I think there's this, I think it's a statement, there's more, the return on investment on collaboration is more than competition. And when you understand that formula, you understand that, when you pull in complement in terms of strengths, resources, you can achieve more other than competing. And I think it has really worked for me on my consulting journey and my career, where I've seen more or achieved more impact when I collaborate with people other than, working alone. Even what we've been able to achieve as Heals for Paths, as Sister Speaks, as a result of collaboration. But also personally, in my own journey, I have talent. I have my strengths, and when I collaborate maybe with Lush, maybe to pray with you, Mishish, to have fun, it becomes even more fun. I mean, no man is an island, really.
Right.
Yeah. So I think collaboration is the key, and it's the currency of today.
Definitely.
I really loved it when she said that at the event, because I think, honestly, you can't do a lot alone. So just imagine, guys, we are in a studio right now. We have people around us who have made this set possible. So imagine, shout out to our crew behind the scenes. So imagine trying to do all this, and then we have to edit, and then we have to, honestly, you will collapse. You won't even go far. You'll do it for some time, because maybe you still got that fire and whatever, but over time it becomes tiring.
Yes.
So find somebody who knows how to do something that you are not so good at. Find somebody else, come together and amplify. Sometimes also collaboration is not even about finding someone who has a different strength from you. We're both doing the same thing. So
we might as well join
just
forces and be able to even lift more.
Exactly. So what about you?
I mean, the power of collaboration, just even within ourselves, we all bring a different gift to the table, and that has brought us to where we are today.
Absolutely.
Simply speaking, we are moving into our 6th year, ladies, right?
Yeah.
We started in 2019.
Yeah.
And I believe that everyone has a different gift. We've all learned from each other. And the power of collaboration is invaluable. It really, truly is.
As you've gone through like your journey of collaboration, your own journey of like last year, and your own personal work journeys and even personal life, and to even those who are listening, we'd love to hear in the comments what your tips are for navigating any particular challenges that you have experienced. And maybe as we are in the spirit of International Women's Day, let's each and every one of us maybe highlight what we can do or what we are doing to accelerate action.
I think personally, in my own journey, in my career, I've been able to exert influence and impact, especially in the women in tech, through learning and development across sub-Saharan Africa, and in seeing the resilience of people that I touch with the work that I do, seeing the transformation, the hope they get after you're done with the program. Some of them end up starting their own innovation, startups, business, others go into employment, and it changes the trajectory of their lives. So in that way, I think I'm blessed to be able to accelerate action in that way to change people's lives, not only in my backyard, also in the continent. And I hope, as we grow, also these podcasts can be a platform where, stories of other women, say for example in Burundi, in Sudan, in Nigeria, they can be part and parcel of what we're doing, and we can collaborate and for a bigger impact. Yeah,
definitely. I think for me, mentorship has been one of those areas, especially in the media space, being able to mentor other up-and-coming talent, because none of us did this by ourselves. None of us forged our own journey, but the power that former mentors have also given me, I've been able to also pay forward to other young ladies that want to get into the media space, and that, for me, is a small part of accelerating action for other young women that want to get into media, that want to understand the power of their own voice, and just knowing that you can do it. I think You know, I look at someone like Mishis over here. When you first started getting on the mic, it's like, even for you, the sound of your voice sometimes was a bit overwhelming to your own ears.
I couldn't do it.
But look at you, girl, out there doing international things, you know, so.
And she's actually doing speaking engagements as well.
Yeah, so
look at her.
Awesome.
I love it. I think I'll speak on behalf of what we do as an organization and how we're accelerating action. So like this month, we're highlighting 31 women in Kenya, in Africa and globally who are accelerating in engineering, in wind, in innovation. In terms of Sister Speaks, this year is really about finding ways to get women in business to unlock business opportunities and unlock capital. So and we have launched SESA, which stands for Sister Entrepreneurship Society Africa, which is a capacity building program with the intention of getting women having access to like investment preparedness. From a Heels for Pads point of view, going with what happened last year, women GBV survivors has been something that, because we figured out how to get the girls access to pads and we have a formula going, and so now we want to use our notion of selling heels for pads to now educate and economically empower, is probably the better term, for women GBV survivors with skills for digital and entrepreneurship skills. So really excited, continue being on this journey with us, and I think we're about to wrap it up, and maybe each and one of you can leave it with a parting shot around your definition of womanhood.
I think to your point, it's very important to understand, give ourselves some flowers. Entrepreneurship is not a walk in the park, and I think clocking 6 years and being able to collaborate and achieve what we've been able to achieve. If I have not said it before, well done, ladies. Well done. We've done. Yeah, I think we don't give ourselves flowers enough. We've done so much. There are people who started the journey with us, but unfortunately they had to stop, either because of COVID, their business model didn't work, and here we are, we keep recreating ourselves, pivoting and coming up with different initiatives, again with the bigger mission, which is to give back to the society, to elevate the girls and women from low-income communities. And I think that's what we are all about. Even this platform will continue bringing change makers who are exerting influence and change in their own respective initiatives. And as I wrap it up, in whatever way you're changing a life, it could be one person. Just give yourself grace. We are living in such weird times, and if you're able to make someone's life easier, God bless you.
How would you, I guess that a nice way to like even wrap it up into a nice tight bow is each and every one of us define what the beauty of womanhood has meant for you, seeing as we're also in the month of March. And as we wrap it up.
The beauty of womanhood. I think as a woman, women, we are multifaceted. We are not afraid to take on different challenges. I think women, one thing about us that's so beautiful is that we're able to easily morph, and adapt. And I think that flexibility with us, so whether it's us with all of our emotions, we know we have to keep moving. And being able to have that duality of force, but also feeling is something that as a woman in my womanhood, I really enjoy.
I love that.
I think it's the power we have, whether we know it or not. The office of woman is for creation, and if we tap in that creative energy, we can change the world. Whether the system wants us to do that or not, we are called to be in the office of creation. We create, and so if you're able to create change, you're welcome to take the center stage.
Oh, I love that. Oh, I don't have much to say, but...
You gotta cry.
Oh, I'm gonna cry. But I think I would like to say that a woman knows how to hold her pain, right? Mm-hmm. You can never really know when she's going through her periods and she's struggling. She'll still be present. So to all the women who are holding their pain and still keeping a safe face, kudos to you. It has been a pleasure. I know this podcast has been a little bit longer, but allow us, because it's been a while since we've been talking in front of the mics. And just to, I guess, reiterate what Ange said earlier, we're doing it differently. So we're going to be having an OVAReact hour on the Fuse, and it will start on the 26th of March, which is next week, Wednesday, from 10 to 11 a.m. And we'll be having these kind of conversations for 1 hour and listening to and celebrating music from female artists around the globe. So keep overreacting with us.
Yes.
We're back every Wednesday from 10 p.m. So I'm excited.
Yes, and you can follow us on OVAReact on Instagram. You can also check us out at Sister Speaks 254, where we share and amplify different stories of change makers and women. And of course, we are on X at Sister Speaks 254 as well.
All right. Well, with all of that said, ladies,
Let's overreact.